Hello, friends, and welcome back to Radiant Reflections. It's been a minute since I did a solo episode with you guys, and I'm trying out a new program too, so recording program, so bear with me on this. Hopefully there's no technical difficulties here, but it's been a minute since I did a solo episode. Lots to tell you, and I feel like as I share, then things will become a little bit more clear as to why that's been happening. First of all, I never got to do an episode and touch on my trip that I went on in January, so I thought I would start there. Colin and I went to Cape Verde and Sao Tomé and Príncipe, and for those who are unfamiliar, they are West African islands. And so Cape Verde is like just south of the Canary Islands, if you're familiar with that. And then Sao Tomé and Príncipe are down kind of like where the Horn of Africa kind of ends, like it dips in and then kind of comes down. It's kind of right there. It's right off the coast of like Angola and that area over there. Most people I talk to have not heard of them, but I have to tell you, I think Sao Tomé, okay, no. So Sao Tomé and Príncipe is one country, but two different islands. One is Sao Tomé, one is Príncipe. And I think Príncipe had the most beautiful beaches I've ever seen in my entire life. In all of the 50 plus countries that I've been to, Sao Tomé and Príncipe just absolutely stunning. White sand, crystal clear blue and emerald green water. It was absolutely stunning. Cape Verde, we went to the island of... we went to Santo Anteo. Stunning scenery, just absolutely beautiful. Very similar to Kauai, the very like dramatic green cliff sides. It was absolutely amazing and stunning. So I did a ton of hiking there and then did some beaching there, but the ocean was pretty tumultuous while we were there. So there wasn't a lot of like good swimming and stuff like that in it. So we just kind of did a lot of hiking, hung out on the beach. It also wasn't as warm there because it was further north. So I think it was like maybe 70s, 60s, 70s the whole time we were there, which was perfect for hiking. And then, then we went down to Sao Tomé and Príncipe, and that was stunning and beautiful. Príncipe was just absolutely incredible. Seriously, if you want the best beaches you've ever seen, go to Príncipe. Prior to that, my favorite beach was in the Seychelles. It was Anse Georgette, and nothing beat that, but these might beat that. And partially because there's also nobody on them. They were absolutely empty the entire time. It was mind-boggling. Yeah, we just had the beaches to ourselves and these just stunning, beautiful beaches. So it was really great. It took me a little while in the beginning of the trip to disconnect from real life, which I think is why it's so important for people to go on like longer vacations like these, which I know not everybody gets that luxury of doing that because of work and things like that. But it's just a week or two vacation. You just can't, it's too hard to disconnect. So disconnecting took me a little while. And the last, 4 months-ish, last quarter of last year, as many of you know, was really fucking hard for me emotionally and stuff. And so it sort of wrecked me. And I feel like I sort of just like zombied through or roboted through the holidays, and I didn't enjoy them as much as I normally do. Anyways, it took a lot at the beginning of this trip to release some of everything that was going on and the heaviness of it and disconnect from it and really get into the trip and enjoy it. But I was able to finally do that. There was a lot of personal healing I had to do with some detachment, and I had to grieve. I had some grieving I had to do, and it was really, really tough. And I'm sorry that I'm being a little cryptic about it, but there's some stuff that I just can't share at this point in time. But yeah, it was tough. But I finally did it. And then, I don't know. I know we talk a lot about burnout and things like that, but I don't think I've ever felt burnout like I have felt it recently. And I don't even know that burnout is the right term for it, to be honest with you. My husband thinks I'm having a midlife crisis. Like, I feel like I'm a little too young for the midlife crisis, but also when I look it up, I kind of tick all the boxes. So it was, I don't know. Life is just really fucking hard for all of us, right? Like, I am not alone in this. I know that. The world is really heavy right now, and I think it's weighing on everyone. Yeah, I didn't quite know where this episode was going to go when I started this, but now it's just kind of going, I'm just going to kind of talk and let you guys listen, and hopefully something resonates. I don't know. Life is just, it's not fair, which my parents taught me my entire childhood that life is not fair. So I don't know why this is like, not that it's a shocker, but it's kind of a shocker. I'm still very much in the healing process of my fertility journey, which I have some news about here that I will share here shortly. But my goodness, the healing process. It's been 2.5 years since my last embryo transfer. And holy moly, it is. I feel like I've come a long way. Most of the time I have peace with where I'm at. And then other times I'm a disaster. There have been some new-ish triggers for me. A few of them I have talked about on here with other guests. If you've listened, you know about the woman who sent me a message telling me that I was absolutely going to have a baby. And she just feels it in her bones as long as I forgive those who have wronged me, trust God's plan, and relax. Yeah, she got blocked real fast. And then, you know, in light of what I'm about to tell you here in a little bit, it's even more fucking laughable that she sent that message. So having to grieve all of that, appreciate and have gratitude for the life that I have currently, because I have a really good life. I really do. And that's where, like, coming back to the burnout. And again, I don't know that I want to call it burnout. Maybe I should just call it a midlife crisis. I am fucking tired, my friends. I am tired emotionally. I am tired of life throwing shit at me, you know, but at the same time, like I said, I have a good life. I have a good husband. I'm comfortable, I have power and water the entire time. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I skipped over that. In Sao Tomé, I'll back up a little bit, but in Sao Tomé, we had power and water about 50% of the time that we were there. They have a major power crisis right now, and it's really, really sad. So it would just go out, and you didn't know how long it was going to be out or when it was going to come back on. Businesses and hotels and restaurants and things like that, and just the general public, have their own generators that they run. They just have to run these generators. And then the fuel for the generators comes from the mainland. And half the time the boat doesn't even come from the mainland. So it's just like, you know, here I am complaining about my first world problems. And these poor people are living over there without consistent power and water. And I can't tell you how grateful I was to come back to the US and have that reliable luxury. Like, it truly is a luxury to have power and water 24/7 and not have to worry about it going out unless there's a disaster or something like that. So I am grateful for all of that. I am grateful that I have a job. I'm grateful that I have money. I'm grateful that I have a roof over my head, that I have a wonderful husband, that I have amazing people in my life. My friends right now are absolutely incredible. It took me till I was almost 40 to find those friends, but they're amazing. Yeah, it's just, you know, I get to travel the world. Life is good. But I'm fucking worn out, let me tell you. From the heavy shit that's going on in the world in general, I've been doing hair for 20 years. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love what I do. And every day that I'm in the salon with my amazing clients, I love it. I'm happy that I have it. But I'm tired. And I feel like I'm lacking a little bit in inspiration, which I need. And I'm working on that. I've been doing some classes and things like that. So I'm trying to find that. I don't know. I'm feeling a little blah right now. And I've talked to actually a lot of people that are kind of feeling the same way. So I don't know if it's something in the air, but I'm feeling very blah. I'm feeling very tired. When I thought that I would be a mom for most of my life and that would be my like main purpose in life. And I don't even know that I processed it as a purpose. I just knew it was something I was going to do. And that was going to be part of my identity, was being a mom. When that was taken away from me and is no longer a possibility, and I know everyone wants to know if I've thought of adoption, if I've thought of fostering, donors, surrogates, all the things. I have to tell you, I've definitely thought about it. We've thought about it, and we're unsure at this point in time what's for us and what isn't. But right now, I gotta tell you, I have been enjoying my life the way it is and not having the pressure of having to think about that. So maybe at some point we can revisit that or some of those options, but at this point in time, we are not exploring any of them. So when that option was taken off the table for me and Colin to have our own biological children, one, I had to grieve it, as you all know. And two, in order to find the joy and gratitude and happiness in the life that I currently have, I needed to grieve that and let go of it and put it in the past. And like I said, every once in a while I come back to it and I'm like, this is something I want. Maybe I could pursue something. And then I just think about everything I've gone through and I'm like, fuck that. No, I have been through so much and I have some serious PTSD when I think about actually taking the steps to pursue any of that. I cannot endure any more heartbreak when it comes to my infertility. So that being taken away, what the hell is my purpose here? What am I doing here? What am I doing on this earth? What am I contributing to this life? What is this life that I'm living? I don't know. I genuinely do not know. I do my best to just be a good person, to lift people up, to bring joy to my clients, make them feel good about themselves, make them feel beautiful, uplift my friends, my family. But I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm 100% having an identity crisis. That for sure is happening. Midlife is still up in the air, but I don't know. I wish I knew. And I don't really I know that like timeline shouldn't matter in a lot of that, but like I really don't want to wait until I'm like 40 or 50 to figure that out. But I also think it's something I can't force. I think it's something I have to just wait till it comes to me and see where life and the universe takes me. But like I said, I'm tired. I guess this is probably a good point in time for me to share that Colin and I got some new health insurance through his work. And we had to go do a primary care visit to establish care and do like a physical and whatnot. And so we did that and we both requested to do blood work. Neither of us had, comprehensive blood work done in a while, like cholesterol and all your standard things. And I also asked to run my hormones because my hormones have been run through IVF, but it was more to get a baseline of where to start my drugs and all that stuff and then monitoring my drugs. I mean, they did an initial workup probably 8-9 years ago when I started all of this just to see where I was at. But most of the time it was just to like baseline it so that they could create my protocol for my medications. So I asked the doctor, he said, sure, we'll do some basic hormones. And then I had to go in for a pap smear, which was fun because I hadn't had one in 5 years, which is standard now, apparently. They tell you if you get a normal one, you don't have to get another one for 5 years. I told him I want to do a pap smear, so we did a pap smear. And when I went in for the pap smear, I said, since I didn't hear from you about the blood work, I'm assuming that all of that was fine. And he goes, yeah, he pulls it up on the computer and he's looking at the cholesterol and all that stuff. And then he goes, everything looked good there, except that I did make a note that we need to talk about hormone replacement therapy. Now, many of you are not watching this video. If you could see my face, my jaw fucking dropped. My eyes went wide. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? What the fuck? And of course, he was like, yeah, I don't have time to talk about that right now, but we all have my MA call you so we can set up a time to talk about that. What? Now, I've worked on women for 20 years doing hair. A lot of my clientele is in the perimenopause and menopause phase. I am not an idiot. And nobody I know that's on hormone replacement therapy is not in perimenopause or menopause. So I leave the office. My brain is going, I have a very dear friend that I messaged who used to work at a hormone replacement therapy clinic and also has been dealing with her own hormonal issues for many, many, many years. And I reached out to her and I asked her, I was like, do you know anyone or is it a thing to be on hormone replacement therapy when you're not in menopause or perimenopause? And she said, not really, but it kind of depends. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't freak out before I know the facts. So that afternoon, the MA called me, set up a phone conversation with the doctor the following morning. Thank God they didn't make me wait for forever. So do this phone conversation. I get on the phone and he immediately tells me, according to your blood work, you're in perimenopause. I don't think I even remember half of what he said after that because I'm sorry, I'm 38 fucking years old. Oh, am I in perimenopause right now? I thought I would have at least until I was 40 to have this conversation. And he just immediately spouts out all of these options, and most of them are birth control, IUD and birth control pills, estrogen patches, progesterone pills, all these things. I had to take notes because I was not retaining any of it. All I wanted to do was get off the phone and cry. And let me be clear here. I was not upset that I was going into menopause or perimenopause, which, by the way, there is a difference. Perimenopause is the lead up to actual menopause. You're not considered in menopause until you haven't had a period for an entire year. So perimenopause is the start of like your hormones and your body shutting down, all that stuff, into actual menopause. So I am not upset about this because I am going into perimenopause and menopause. This is an entirely different way of thinking in the sense that I thought, even if this was the stupidest thing and didn't make any sense, and I had little to no chance of conceiving naturally, which has been clear for many years, there's still a chance, right? Because I'm still having periods. I'm still of fertile age. And now I'm being told that the door has completely closed on biologically conceiving my own children. I can't even talk about it without getting teary-eyed and wanting to cry. The grief in that is a whole different level, especially when I thought I still had at least a little bit of time. And even if that tiny ray of hope was teeny tiny, it was there. And to be told that that's it, the universe has officially determined you're done, is a loss all over again, a grief all over again. And I cried and I cried and I cried. It doesn't even have to do with the fact that I'm going to be having hot flashes and night sweats and lack of sleep and energy and all the things. I can legitimately no longer, I am still having regular periods. So the door is not fully closed, but he basically said, according to my blood work, my ovaries and egg count are diminishing. What is the solution? To put more fucking hormones in my body. My friend sent me a video recently of this girl talking about having to go on hormone replacement therapy after IVF. And that's a real thing. Again, the PTSD of having to take shit every day, having to do something every day, having to pump hormones in my body to try to figure out what's wrong with me and to balance it all out is just I still haven't gotten over my supplement PTSD. I can't take supplements daily to save my life. I try. I wanted to take a multivitamin and collagen and a couple of things, and I cannot for the life of me do it because I did it for so long and I'm enjoying the break. I've enjoyed my body feeling like my body and not whatever I'm trying to make it do and being in control of that. So I will say I have had some night sweats and hot flashes, and I sometimes wake up at 2 a.m. and can't shut my brain off. Probably a bit of brain fog, things like that, but it's not consistent. It's pretty sporadic throughout my cycle still. So I sort of just chalked it up to being part of, post IVF stuff. My body is just confused. It doesn't know what's going on, whatever. No, apparently not. I don't know what I'm going to do. I did not like my doctor's recommendations. I feel like I know nothing about this because I was completely blindsided and unprepared for this news. So I'm just kind of in this time period of trying to do some research, figuring all that out. I called a hormone replacement specialist clinic, and they are going to run my blood again and do a full comprehensive panel because this primary care only did he did estradiol, progesterone, LH, FSH, and testosterone free. That's it. We didn't even do thyroid or anything like that. So this next, this hormone place is going to do a full comprehensive panel of blood work, including my thyroid, including vitamin D, all of those things for me to get a second opinion and go from there. And so I don't know what to expect. They do them on certain cycle days. So they said 18 to 21. So that's putting me at the beginning of May. So I have an appointment at the beginning of May to do the hormones again, and we'll see. And maybe I'll come on here and do an update about that. If anybody wants to follow this wild fucking roller coaster that I'm on of Tawny's life, feel free to tune in some more. It's crazy. I still cannot comprehend it. And I think that's why I'm feeling exhausted, because I just don't understand what I did to deserve this. The infertility, like, okay, whatever. Early onset menopause, perimenopause, what the fuck ever. Fine. I would not give as much of a fuck if I had a kid, if I had gotten a child out of IVF and infertility. And instead, my body keeps betraying me. That's how I feel. And it's probably not the right way to feel, but I'm just being raw and honest right now because that's why I started this podcast, you know? And that's part of why I haven't been able to come on here and be raw and honest, because of everything I've been dealing with and worn out by. And then this happened. And so I apologize to everyone listening for not coming on here and being vulnerable and real and raw. So I am doing that now. And yeah, I feel like my body has completely betrayed me in this lifetime. And I have been working so fucking hard on trying to love myself and love my body. And I gotta tell you, I don't feel like it's working with me. I feel like it's working against me. So that disconnect from your body is heartbreaking and something I really can't fully describe and put words to. But it's not that I hate my body. I have to live in my body every day. It truly is a miracle the way it functions and keeps me alive. But it has not done what I wanted it to do for a while for me. So that's the raw and honest truth. I have not shared this news with very many people because of how heartbreaking it is and hard to talk about and process. So this is the best I got, so I don't have to keep repeating myself to people. Yeah, so that's what I'm going through. And it's really fucking hard, you know. Meanwhile, there are loads of people in my life, my age and older, that are pregnant, having babies. I just had a client the other day, my age, who's having her third. So, and I am so beyond happy for her, truly. I really don't wish this on anybody. Absolutely don't wish it on anybody. So that's where we're at, friends. Tani is not only having a midlife crisis, but she's also in perimenopause, apparently. So that's my life update, friends, for now. I wish I had all the answers. I wish I had more solutions, but I just don't know right now. I don't know. Have you ever tried to contemplate your purpose in this life? I mean, I feel like some people are clear on it. I also have been working really hard on trying to get to know my authentic self so that I could love myself. And I think I'm closer to that than I ever have been. Even with recent events, I have been trying really hard to be true to myself and figure out who authentic Tani is and really be that and embody that. And maybe that will bring me to love my body more. But I don't know. It's hard, friends. My 30s have been so interesting. Does anybody else feel that way? You know, in my 20s, I feel like I was just like floundering through life and, you know, just having fun and enjoying my youth. And, you know, my 30s have been so enlightening, I think is the best term to describe it. I've learned so much about myself, about life, about who I want to be, about the way this world works, about other people. I mean, it's wild, this life we're living. And we get one. We only get one, you guys. Only one. Okay. I would like to talk about a lighter topic. I am obsessed right now with reading. Now, you all know that I have been a reader for a long time. But I have never become obsessed with reading as much as I am currently. I think I'm on book 15 or 16 of the year, which is wild for me. I used to only read a handful of books a year. I'm a slow reader and I just didn't make the time for it. And I have been putting so much time into it. Plus, I have been doing audiobooks, which I know a lot of people say doesn't count for reading, but I gotta tell you, like, I want to just sit and read a book all day, every day. That's all I want to do, is lose myself in a fantasy world that doesn't actually exist, to a love story that is amazing and spicy. I've loved the spicy books lately. That is not something I thought I would get into. And to be honest with you, I think because I'm feeling so numb and blah to life currently, I am just getting so much stimulation from these books. And yes, I have gone into a deep dive into the romantasy genre. But I was one of the ones that was obsessed with fantasy and sci-fi before the romantasy craze, and that's just added a whole new level. So first I'm going to talk about, am still sort of in the self-help realm, memoir realm, but I'm reading Elizabeth Gilbert's All the Way to the River, I think it's called. Highly recommend. Amazing story. Elizabeth Gilbert is such a beautiful writer and soul, and her telling this story of her life is incredible. It's beautiful. It's heart-wrenching. It's amazing. And there is a lot of addiction related things in it. And I have learned so much about addiction by reading this book. And I have to tell you, I am dealing with a lot of that in my personal life. Not me necessarily personally, but addiction is very present in my life right now. And I have learned so much about it. So much. It is eye-opening. Like, amazing. So, highly, highly, highly recommend All the Way to the River by Elizabeth Gilbert. My amazing client gave it to me for Christmas this last year, and I'm slowly working my way through it. So that's kind of what I'm reading right now for like self-help books. Also audio booking, trying to get through the House of Night series, if anybody has read that. It's a young adult series about vampires, and it's really good. I read it a long time ago and realized recently that I was missing the last, apparently she had come out with, I think it's 4 more books at the end of that series. I thought I finished it years ago. So I started to reread it from the beginning and listen to it. And I'm almost done with book 3 of that, young adult vampires, if you're into that. And you guys, I am ridiculously obsessed right now with the book I'm reading right now. And I do not feel like it is getting the credit that it deserves on the internet. You guys, Daggermouth by H.M. Wolf, my gosh, is rocking my freaking socks off right now. It is a dystopian story with a little bit of a romantic twist to it. Very Hunger Games vibes, like adult Hunger Games vibes. So good. Like, I'm not going to tell you anything about it because it is just, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but I'm telling you, you must read this book. I really do not know why no one is talking about this book on the internet because holy shit. I want to say 75% through it, I think. And all I want to do is sit and read this book. I don't want to work. I don't want to do chores around my house. Nothing is getting done around my house right now since I started that book. And I only started it a few days ago and I'm almost done. So if you want a good read, it might be my number 1 book of the year, depending on how the rest of the year goes, but probably my number 1 book up until this point. I also read Alchemized, which is absolutely amazing. Huge commitment in 1,000 pages, but I read it in a much shorter time frame than I thought I would. So well written, so good, but very dark. The Eye of the Goddess series is one of my favorites that I've read this year, but I am telling you, this Daggermouth book is the best book I have read since Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, and Onyx Storm, which I absolutely adore. So good. So get out there and read this book, you guys. I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. And can we talk about the amount of not new books, but sequels that are coming out this year? I am literally losing my mind over the amount of books I have had to pre-order. And now, okay, as everybody knows, Sarah J. Maas is putting out 2 more ACOTAR books, and now I have to figure out how to reread ACOTAR before October, which I think I'm going to try to re-listen to the books because I can just get it through it so much faster. But right now I can't focus on anything but Daggermouth, you guys, truly. I might finish it tonight at the time of this recording. So, but there's so many sequels coming out, you guys. I'm going to share my Amazon pre-orders at this point in time. Okay, well, I just ordered Bloodbound, which is coming out on Tuesday. It just supposed to be dragons and things like that. I've seen a little bit of it on the internet and I'm really excited to read that one. Furybound, which is the sequel to Direbound, if anybody has read that. I am super excited. I just finished Direbound. Really great little romantasy. The Ballad of Falling Dragons. Now, this one I have a lot of mixed feelings about because I did not love When the Moon Hatched. And I might have to do a re-listen or something to that one before this one comes out. It's book 2. I just felt like for how big and long the When the Moon Hatched was, that there was not much closure at the end. So that was a bit disappointing. But I still want to see where the story goes. So I am probably going to read it, even though I didn't love When the Moon Hatched. Okay, Daggermouth is releasing a hardback special edition that has the sprayed edges, of course, and it's just a beautiful book that I pre-ordered, and that's in July. Along with the audiobook. There is no audiobook coming out yet, so audiobook. Oh my gosh, can we talk about Rebecca Yarros announcing some freaking little in-between book? I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not gonna lie. But that comes out in September. Fae and Alchemy, book 3, and I think that is the final one that comes out in November. And then, of course, the ACOTAR books that come out in October and I believe January, which, of course, I've pre-ordered those as well. So, I think that's all I actually have right now that's pre-ordered as I'm looking at these, but I'm sure there will be more. I also want to read, I think it's called Silver Elite, and I think that book too comes out here in May. So I do want to read that. Oh, The Night and the Moth or something like that. That one I need to read. I have the first book, that I got for Christmas. So that's on my reading list. And that book too comes out this year by Rachel Gillig. So many, you guys. So many. I don't know what I'm going to do. This is the most new releases. And I don't know if it's because I'm reading more or what, but it's the most new releases in these series that I have ever seen. So in a year. Okay. And then Daggermouth also. I literally am so obsessed, you guys. Book 2 it's supposed to be a duology. So there's only going to be 2 books. There is no release date for book 2, but I think I saw something about next year. So that one will be coming out next year. So for those of you, I have a friend who only likes to read series that are finished. You'll have to wait till next year for that one. But if you want to get on it now. Okay. Now I feel like I'm rambling about books. I feel a lot better, you guys, now that I have shared what's been going on with me. Thank you for continuing to listen to this podcast. It really means a lot to me. It is also something that I'm trying to figure out what direction I want to go. It's changed for me. So we will see what the future holds for this podcast. I still enjoy doing it, but I think it's going to change. And I don't know what that means, if I'm being perfectly honest. So thank you again for listening. And if anybody ever wants to come on and be a guest, I would be happy to have you. I absolutely adore all of the guests that I have had on this podcast. And I love talking to people I know and love in my life. So don't be afraid to reach out if you want to just have a conversation. We don't even have to talk about anything deep. We can just have a conversation. So again, I love you all so much. Thank you so much for listening. I will keep you updated, I think, on this process. I mean, again, I wanted to start this podcast to share the nitty gritty in between, just the happy ending after all of this. So I got to share my nitty gritty. This is my nitty gritty, friends. Yeah. Also, I'm learning a lot about codependency. I really need to read that book by Terry Cole, if anybody knows about it. It's about high functioning codependence. I think it's called In Too Much or something, or Too Much by Terry Cole. That's on my to read list because Tawny is a high functioning codependent and I am working on it. So yes. And I also need to get back into therapy, especially after finding out I'm in perimenopause. So I will keep you all posted. And I love you all so much. Thank you for listening. You're not alone. I'm here for you. All right. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.